Well guys, we've done it. We've made it through the entire year. All kinds of iPhone leaks leading up to this between new Apple Watches or maybe new AirPods coming or what's the one more thing at this event. But this is the last one. This is the last prediction video for the decade, in fact, because as of tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. there will no longer be any more secrets that Apple keeps behind doors. We get to find out everything about this year's iPhones, get all the details, get the scoop on the new Apple Watch, and believe it or not, in just the last 24 hours before this event takes place, there's already some last minute leaks coming out. So in today's video, we'll be recapping everything and throwing in some of those last minute predictions right before the event takes place. And this means this video is going to be irrelevant very quickly. So we've had a long ride, but without further ado, here we go. First off, of course, 3 new iPhones being unveiled at this event, 3 same screen sizes we saw before. From the front, these things aren't changing, okay? Expect your notches and bezels to all stay the same. On the back, though, that's where you'll find the most controversy. Triple camera setups on both of the iPhone Pro models, arranged in an equilateral distance from each other, likely to help with augmented reality and computational photography and videography, one being an ultra-wide, one being a telephoto, and one being the same old lens we're used to using. The iPhone XR successor, which I personally think is going to be rebranded as just iPhone, is also getting an extra lens, a telephoto lens at that, and it's my personal opinion that portrait mode is going to be more of an option this year for both the telephoto lens and the regular lens across the entire lineup, instead of what we had before where portrait mode was locked to a single lens. On the XR, you only had one lens, so you had to use portrait mode with that, and then with the OLED model iPhones, you could only take a portrait mode photo with the telephoto lens. You could not zoom it out if you wanted to. I'm predicting this year they'll let you use either lens you want. The text on the bottom, iPhone, is being removed in sake of a more minimal, clean design. We're getting several new colors this year, more than likely. iPhone XR successor coming in new green and purple colors. And as for the Pro models in stainless steel, more than likely there's going to be some type of new color, whether it's a jet black or maybe a product red or something in there, something separate, because pretty much anytime we have an incremental iPhone upgrade like this one, Apple will throw in at least one extra color, sometimes more, to boost sales so people can tell that new iPhones are out and all that. So from the back, it'll be very easy to notice that this year's iPhone is different because that Apple logo is also being centered for the first time in the iPhone's history, most likely to help users know where they can place their wireless charging AirPods and take advantage of bilateral wireless charging, which we've seen in previous Android phones, but now it's coming to the iPhone, and supposedly you'll be able to charge your AirPods and even your Apple Watch from the iPhone's battery itself. There's been a little bit of chit-chat of perhaps the Pro model iPhones this year shipping with fast chargers, 18-watt USB-C to Lightning cable. That one's not 100% confirmed, though I think it would be a really smart move for Apple to do it now after so many people have been complaining about it. And it also wouldn't be a horrible idea to maybe boost that starting storage configuration for the more expensive OLED models. Starting it at 128 gig instead of 64 could, I think, help people understand why they put Pro in the naming scheme, but this is still wishful thinking, not absolutely confirmed. But while the front of these iPhones may look the same, Face ID is supposedly improving as well. Maybe they'll brand it as Face ID 2 or the second generation of Face ID, because the hardware from teardowns we've already seen are looking to be a little bit different. The dot projector is supposedly going to be shooting out more dots so it can collect more data from probably wider angles, allowing Face ID to be a bit more adaptable for more circumstances, perhaps work from further away or from more angles than it did before, whether that's landscape or upside down. Whichever way you're holding the iPhone, Face ID should be improving just overall. Of course, expect bigger batteries across the entire lineup, as well as a faster CPU. The A13, rumored to be called Omega, but Apple could call it something else. They kind of do their own thing with the weird CPU branding. But a leak that we got recently, just this morning, was that there is a new replacement, sort of, for the Motion coprocessor that Apple's had in their chips for a long time, that they're naming R1, or that's the code name for it for now, which is supposed to help motion tracking be even more detailed than it has been in the past. These R1 chips could potentially be used in Apple's new tracker devices that they'll be launching at this event as well, allowing you to attach them to keys, wallets, backpacks, whatever you want to, so that you can track non-tech devices from the Find My app. These R1 chips are much more sophisticated, taking advantage of Bluetooth 5.1 technology that will allow the user to find exactly where their items are with much more precise distance tracking. So you'll be able to take out your phone and it'll probably even have an arrow pointing directly at where your devices are, and it can get very specific to where it is in the room. It uses a ton of different hardware to help you track exactly exactly where your iPhone or iPad may be in the event of it being lost between the compass, the cameras, the microphones, of course Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. It basically uses every trick it has in the book to give the end user the most detailed directions into where devices actually are located, and it sounds like those R1 chips are going to be available in all 3 of the new iPhones, making them easier to find in the case of them getting lost, and also easy to locate other lost devices, like those Apple Tile trackers that are probably being announced, or any number of other Apple devices that get lost out there. In regards to the Apple Watch, you should definitely expect this year to be fairly incremental. There's been some light talk of maybe them adding some more health features, whether it be blood pressure monitoring or first-party sleep tracking applications, which has a lot of people excited. Not me, though. I still can't figure out the purpose of sleep tracking. I'll do that in another video. But we definitely know there's going to be some new finishes coming. Ceramic and titanium are what's at the top of all the predictions lists, and probably a whole assortment of new watch bands to come along with them as well. In regards to how it physically looks, though, probably expect the Series 5 to look exactly the same as the Series 4, aside from those new finishes. There is some light talk of potentially new AirPods coming out, but while we're pretty confident Apple's working on new generation AirPods, that's not something confirmed to be coming out at this event like the watch or the iPhone, so don't necessarily count on new AirPods, or definitely don't count on over-ear headphones. A lot of people were hoping those were coming out. There's been very little rumors and leaks for those lately, so I feel like it's probably not going to be at this event. But in regards to what Apple's one more thing is, which we've talked about a lot, it's worth mentioning that they're doing a lot of different things for this keynote than what they normally do for any typical old iPhone keynote. For one, this is the first time ever Apple is live streaming their keynote to YouTube, which means, yes, you don't even have to go to Apple's website or follow them on Twitter to watch the event live. It'll be live streamed directly from their YouTube channel, and on top of that, they're even advertising the event on YouTube using YouTube advertising. So probably some of you have noticed when you're watching different videos, you're getting adverts for the Apple iPhone keynote. So they're definitely hyping this thing up a lot more than what they normally do, which is typically promote it via Twitter, of course send out the invites to all of the press who are invited, and then of course you watch the keynote from their site. But now they're going to much more extensive lengths to make sure that everyone on YouTube is aware of this event happening as well, and also Twitter. So they're really advertising this event, plus there's some odd things going on at Apple stores recently too. Literally this night, if you're watching this video when it was uploaded fairly recently, Apple is going to be blacking out a lot of the windows across their Apple stores right before the event happens and during the event, and Mark Gurman on Twitter is theorizing that they're bringing back the 3D advertising they've used in the past. They haven't used that in a long time, but in the old days at least, they used to have a lot of 3D designs and 3D promotional images to hype up future products or products that were available. There's some pictures with like a giant iPhone in the front, or back with the iPhone 5C, they had lots of multiple colored dots that they would hang in the front of the store just to try to draw people in. I guess more recently, they've wanted Apple stores to be a bit more clean and minimal, so they got rid of those, but now they're bringing back the black curtains during the event, which for those who don't know, a lot of Apple stores are going to be playing the iPhone event live as it's happening in the store, so if you want to watch it at one, I guess you have that experience as well. But also for the grand opening of one of New York's Apple stores, they decorated it with a multicolored glass, stained glass kind of looking design to sort of hype up this very colorful iPhone launch. I think most people are assuming it's going to be, but yeah, it's very difficult for me to not get excited. I mean, we got CoinX, a 100% reliable leaker, tweeting that there's going to be a one more thing potentially at this event. Simultaneously, Apple hyping up the event far more than they normally do. If it was literally just the new iPhones and the new Apple Watches, which I'm sure Apple is aware, we know what the new iPhones are going to be. We know about the leaks and everything. You know, they must be seeing all the leaked concepts and leaked designs that we've been tweeting around. Why are they asking for so much attention for this event aside from, you know, we just want to sell more iPhones? I hope that's not the only thing. I'm trying to not get too fixated on the idea that maybe augmented reality glasses or some type of AR hardware is going to be launched at this event, but the amount of hyping up Apple is giving across YouTube and Twitter now is like really impossible for me to think that's not going to be it. Like, it just makes so much sense to me given leaks we had in the past from Ming-Chi Kuo saying that AR glasses were entering production at the end of 2019, and the Apple Watch had to be unveiled long before they could actually start shipping it. So if Apple's shipping these glasses in 2020, it would make sense to unveil them at this keynote. But believe me, I've heard all the other explanations. Some people think it's the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but there's been multiple MacBook Pro redesigns over the past 10 years. None of them got the one more thing treatment. Some people may think it's the tile tracker device that will be considered the one more thing, but to me it's too much of an accessory because AirPods back in 2016 didn't even get the one more thing treatment. They just announced that as one of the things they were launching that year. So why would they not give AirPods one more thing, but they would give like geo-locating trackers a one more thing treatment? I'm not sure, but I feel like there's gonna be a surprise. I feel like there's gonna be something unexpected at this event that not a lot of people are gonna see coming. I also think that all of the iPad rumors and MacBook rumors we've been hearing about are likely going to be delayed for an October keynote. Sounds like there's enough stuff to fill a pro-oriented keynote later, but usually Apple likes keeping the iPhone and Apple Watch events separate and on their own. There was some light talk from Bloomberg that maybe we're seeing a cheaper HomePod unveiled at this event too, so I'm excited because there's definitely a lot of stuff we do know, but simultaneously there's also going to be a bunch of stuff we don't know, and I think there will be surprises at this event that a lot of us aren't necessarily seeing coming. So keeping that in mind, I'll be doing a hype stream on YouTube an hour before the event starts, and then right when the event starts, we're going to be switching over to my Twitch page where I'll be doing a live reaction to the entire event. You can watch it with me, which I've always found a lot of fun because these events, even Apple ones, do typically have a lot of fluff, a lot of things that don't need to be there, and watching it with someone else kind of makes it a bit more entertaining because you don't have to worry about there just being long stretches of nothing. If that happens, then we can joke around and hype each other up in the chat. We've just had good experiences with it for the past several years. I've been live streaming my reactions, so if you're open to joining me over on Twitch, please do. And fingers crossed, the main thing I'm desperately hoping for this year, hopefully the iPhone prices, can just stay the same across the board. Ooh, that would be nice. That would be really sweet, actually. And also, in closure of this whole iPhone leak season, I want to thank all of the conceptors and the leakers and people who gave us this information, people who were able to tease what the next generation iPhones were going to look like long before they were actually announced. Thank you for giving us such entertaining things to talk about, from OnLeaks to Ben Geskin to Bloomberg to everyone who knows they were a part of this whole process. I thank you, and finally, rest in peace 3D Touch, which will not be in any of the 3 new iPhones this year. You had a good run, 3D Touch, but these iPhones are getting too expensive and something had to go. Thank you all for watching. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you guys very shortly.